Imagine a world where the night is completely dark, filled with the sounds of predators, and your only defense is climbing a tree. This was the reality for our early ancestors before they mastered fire. The control of fire was not just a clever trick, it was arguably the most transformative technology in human history. It reshaped our biology, altered our social structures, and ultimately set us on a completely different evolutionary path from every other creature on Earth. To understand how we became the species we are today, we have to look at how fire changed us from the inside out. Long before early humans could spark a flame at will, they had to overcome their natural fear of it. Like most animals, early hominins likely fled from wildfires caused by lightning. However, around 1 to 1.5 million years ago, some brave ancestors began to approach the fading embers of these natural fires. They discovered that fire provided warmth and kept dangerous predators at bay during the night. Instead of retreating into the trees when the sun went down, our ancestors could finally stay on the ground, gathering around the embers for safety and comfort. This shift from the trees to the ground had massive evolutionary consequences, primarily because of cooking. When early humans started tossing raw meat and tough roots into the coals, they accidentally unlocked a nutritional revolution. Cooking breaks down complex carbohydrates and denatures proteins, making food much easier to chew and digest. Before fire, our ancestors spent up to 6 hours a day simply chewing tough, raw vegetation and meat just to get enough calories to survive. Cooking effectively did a large portion of the digestion work outside the body. Because cooked food yielded significantly more energy with far less digestive effort, our physical anatomy began to adapt. Over hundreds of thousands of years, the human gut actually shrank. A large, complex digestive system requires an enormous amount of metabolic energy to maintain. With cooking handling the heavy lifting, that energy could be redirected elsewhere. At the same time, we no longer needed massive jaws and sharp, heavy teeth to grind down fibrous raw plants. Our faces flattened, our teeth grew smaller, and our bodies became more efficient. Where did all that diverted metabolic energy go? It fueled the rapid expansion of the human brain. The brain is an incredibly expensive organ to run, consuming about 20% of our body's energy, despite making up only 2% of our body weight. Without the high-calorie, easily digestible diet made possible by fire, it is biologically improbable that the human brain could have grown to its current size. Fire literally provided the fuel that allowed our ancestors to develop higher cognition, language, and abstract thought. Beyond changing our biology, fire fundamentally transformed our social behavior. The campfire became the very first community center. Before fire, activity ended when darkness fell. But a glowing hearth extended the day by several hours. Gathered around the flames, protected from the dark, early humans began to interact in entirely new ways. They shared stories, passed down knowledge, divided tasks, and bonded. This extended social time likely accelerated the development of complex language and fostered cooperation within the tribe. Fire also served as a powerful tool for manipulating the environment. Our ancestors eventually learned how to use controlled burns to clear dense brush. This practice made foraging easier, improved visibility, and encouraged the growth of fresh vegetation that attracted game animals for hunting. Fire was also used to harden the tips of wooden spears and split stones for better tools. We went from creatures who merely reacted to nature to engineers who actively reshaped our surroundings to suit our needs. Eventually, humans moved from simply managing natural fires to creating fire from scratch using friction or flint. This independence allowed our species to migrate out of the warm African savannas and into the freezing climates of Europe and Asia. Without the portable warmth of fire and the ability to cook in harsh environments, global human migration would have been severely limited. Fire allowed us to survive, adapt, and eventually thrive in almost every ecological niche on the planet. In summary, the control of fire was the spark that ignited modern humanity. It shrank our digestive tracts, expanded our brains, lengthened our days, and bonded our societies. Every piece of modern technology, from the metal tools of the Bronze Age to the internal combustion engines and power plants of today, can be traced back to those early ancestors sitting around a hearth. Fire did not just change how we lived, it fundamentally changed what we are.